All right, folks, welcome back to the American Dota League. It is Season 2, already into week number 2 with Osiris Gaming and the newly formed team North American Rejects under the tag of Monkey Freedom Fighters, apparently. Thank you so much for joining us here, guys. Tonight, we've had a lot of great Dota action today. I've been casting for quite some time, of course. My name is Maud. I've been here for a while, but with me tonight, none other than the great Coddle Guy. How you doing, sir?
Mott, I'm doing great. Happy to be here. I'm excited. Week number 2. Let's get the ball rolling here. Exciting start. North American Rejects. A lot of old school veteran players making their groove back into it. Already, as some people are noticing, a bit of roster changes here and there. Snoopy's going to be standing in. No Korok, and obviously the 6-man Fogged will not be in this one, but still a lot of promising talent here. I'm excited, Mott.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, and it's kind of sad we don't have more hype going for this game, but I think in terms of what they can accomplish, I think that North American Rejects could easily tear through this side of the group, and we'll see what they can accomplish. Of course, they had some decent games earlier today, making their debut up against I forget who it was. I'm drawing a blank right now, and I just was watching it. But either way, they had a series not too long ago in the Dota Trash tournament. They played very well. Like you mentioned, Snoopy standing in, so they've got 4 North American players, and then Snoopy, who's from Australia, of course, formerly from Absolute Legends and N9, of course, so they know him very well. Obviously, Dizmek is going to be here as well. No Korok, like you mentioned. A couple bands coming through. They pick up the Centaur Warrunner. Osiris Gaming, they probably have their work cut out for them. I mean, they're a strong team with strong play, but this is a lot of all-stars essentially coming together to form one big mega team, and we'll see how they play up against Monkey Freedom Fighters.
Yep, and as far as bands, nothing very surprising. Ember, Spirit Invoker, Naga, and Lycanthrope. I mean, Mott, that is as surprising, I guess you could say, as Demon finally coming out that he's a member of Liquid, so...
Shocker.
But, yep, Osiris, though, they grab up the Ancient Apparition here, and still a lot of prominent, pickups still in the pool available. Batrider is the first thing that always comes to my mind nowadays, because people just love to throw them in that off lane and have assured dominance there, but maybe they might also consider what they're going to do to try to contest this Centaur Warrunner. That's a guy who can take a beating and keep on kicking. So he'll hold strong in that off lane, typically see to pick up the boots, the stout shield rather, and with the help of return, he can take a lot of punishment and still linger around long enough to build up plenty of XP and gold for himself.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And another thing about Centaur is that if you try to go on him and you've got a couple melee heroes in that tri-lane trying to deal with him, he'll just stomp you, and all of a sudden that becomes kind of an issue. And you see so often sometimes the lifesteal being picked up to kind of counteract that Centaur runner. He's not going to be able to stomp you. Open Wounds is a great slow, lock him down, get him low, and of course just work on him. But Osiris go for the Ancient Apparition and Rubik, 2 heroes that are very, very, very strong together. You have Chilling Touch, you have Telekinesis to bring anybody back, and the right click with that Chilling Touch for Rubik, plus Fade Bolt when he gets a couple levels in there and has that nuke potential. So all of a sudden Osiris have a pretty decent lineup, but more and more often we're seeing kind of AA getting, I guess, faded out of competitive play, and I think it's kind of good because he's got his niche here and there. Yes, he works well in certain lineups, but there are other times when you're just kind of like, I don't see that working. As of right now, it looks good. They'll have to deal with the Dazzle coming out from NA Rejects, but a good start grabbing both of their supports. No Batrider like you talked about, no offlaner just hit for Osiris, but they can go that way if they want to.
Yeah, and I think it's just a given rule nowadays. When you see a hero picked up so much, this seems to be the flavor of the month. That's just it, because after a certain period of time, a lot of teams start getting very familiar with how that hero is going to be played. Like Ancient Apparition, we know what's going to happen. They're going to go for early aggression and use the power of that Chilling Touch, and then fall into that Ice Blast and just have him prominently maybe sit out on a lane on his own, build up the level 6 very quickly, and it becomes a little bit too predictable, and a lot of teams know how to start building into their draft a way to contest that. So that's probably the reason why you see some of these heroes fall off after a certain period of time and then make their return. So, well, Osiris Gaming, they're going to go ahead and answer all the questions and ban out the Batrider right there. And all the meanwhile, NA Rejects, they grab up that babysitting strong Dazzle right there. So we're not going to see a lot of early aggression in the game, not a lot of potential movement coming out from the supports to the mid lane, whereas that might be something you see on Osiris' side. But yeah. I seem to think that instead they might run with a really aggressive tri-lane here with the help of a core to just shut down the Centaur. First core that comes to my mind with an Ancient Apparition is always the Weaver, just because I think Chilling Touch and the ability to Sakuchi in just works so nicely together.
Yeah, there are two, I guess, It's like two peas in a pod when you think about the Ancient Apparition, you think about the Weaver as well. They're very, very strong together with the amount of damage they can pump out, but you don't necessarily have the lack of potential. And Weaver's good, but he can get shut down. We did see Pycat play a very strong Weaver today, obviously. That was for the WPCA's tiebreaker for Team Dog, and they had a really great game up against Alliance, obviously. So, I mean, you see it here and there, and that was with the Ancient Apparition, I believe. So that is an option always, and something you do have to keep in mind. But really, any hero, it works pretty well with Chilling Touch. I mean, it's just you're getting extra right-click damage, so you might as well go for something like a Weaver, but you can always pick up something like a bit harder or even more of a semi-carry to a certain extent as well. So a lot of different options, more offlaners banned out right now, and as you can see, I mean, it makes sense because Osiris picked up 2 supports. They're kind of leaving themselves open to just get everything banned out in terms of the offlane. Osiris even banned out the Batrider. For whatever reason, they just don't want to play up against it, even though it would have to go mid if it was picked up by NA Rejects, which is actually interesting. I do want to note, we haven't really figured out what the lanes are going to be and who's going to go where for NA Rejects, and we could have maybe seen that earlier in that Dota Trash game, but I'm not quite sure as it stands right now. We'll see who goes mid, who's going to be the hard carry, who's going to be the 3, 4, 5, and what have you. We'll go from there with 53 seconds left of reserve time and the next ban coming out for Osiris.
Yeah, we'll see what Osiris is going to be left with. They don't have much to work with now, as a lot of those prominent offlaners have already been banned out. So, it can be a bit questionable on what they decide to pull out here. If it may be something like a Nature's Prophet to add a little bit of global presence with the Ancient Apparition, that kind of works decently together. But right now, NA Rejects can look to build further into their own, prominent safe lane here. Something that might contest this could be weak offlaner on the side of Osiris Gaming. But just going into a little bit more of Osiris Gaming, because a lot of people are mostly here probably to watch this new NA Reject squad. They are coming off currently a 1-1 series against CMB, not too long ago in the ADL. They're currently obviously then 2-2 in the ADL right now, so they've already got a couple of games under their belt. They're feeling a little more loose. Whereas this new NA Rejects team, you got to consider a lot of these players haven't been really committed to playing true Dota in quite some time. I was just trying to gander over, 1437, Korok, Snake King, and Snake King's been doing a little bit of stand-in work here and there, but 1437 and Korok and them, they haven't had a real professional game under the belt since what was it? I think it was November of 2013, so it's been a while for him.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas was sort of that last formal team for a couple of those players, obviously. I mean, a lot of them still play Dota, but just not at the competitive level like you talked about. Brax as well hasn't played in some time either. But, I mean, there's still... that individual skill is always going to be there, I think, at least to a certain extent, whereas maybe Osiris don't have that kind of skill. Yes, you have Guanzo and some other players that are very, very strong, but we'll see if they can test and keep up with NA Rejects right now. And not to say that NA Rejects have pretty much this victory secured, because they certainly don't by any means, especially with the stand-in from Australia, DSMK, who's maybe not as well known as some of the other players on this team. But it really comes down to the draft, the laning stage, and how everything goes for NA Rejects. Right now, they'll go for the Mirana with Osiris Gaming, and that's that semi-carry that you kind of expect to see. Especially with the arrow, that's a lot of damaging potential coming out, and I think a good pickup as well. But Lich on the other side of things, interestingly enough.
Yeah, things are getting a little quirky here in the mid part of this draft. I mean, that Mirana, the only thing we know for sure is this is not a support Mirana. This could still be an offlaner. This could still be a Sing Sing X, mid lane Mirana. It could be that core. I mean, we'll see. They still have a lot of room to work with here, and trying to look and potentially fizzle things together into a real formula of a team. Whereas NA Rejects throw up a bit of a interesting pickup in the Lich. Lich has a great lane presence, given that he has the easy sacrifice to fall back on and build an extra XP for himself or his whole lane together. We've seen multiple different styles of Lich. I think I've seen Puppy play very, very safe babysitting kind of Lich, just lingering around the mid lane, helping out the mid player, just get some easy denies in there and just kind of play as a babysit role. We've also seen him play very aggressive, or we've even seen him play in the mid lane. If we want to talk about big old school throwbacks from this team, why not a mid lane Lich, right? I mean, it's very unlikely, especially now going against the Storm, but I don't know. It's always a fun idea.
Anything is possible here in the ADL. We like to dream, and we like to dream big, of course, with the NA Rejects. And yeah, I mean, it's certainly interesting. It kind of throws a monkey wrench, at least into the analysis from our side of things. And I actually do like the Centaur and the Lich, because there is that kind of... they have that presence together, because you could Stampede in, you get a nice little stun, and all of a sudden you've got a Chain Frost eating pretty much all of your face. Osiris kind of counterpick it and go for the Storm Spirit, which, he's got Bullet, and he can jump away and kind of have that Delta split maneuver. Moonlight Shadow will be nice to have as well in these team fights, but really it comes down to, I think, getting good ultimates off for and a rejects here. They have the DK as well, so they have some team fight and split push potential with that DK, trying to take down towers with the Elder Dragon form and going to work there. And Osiris are kind of squishy too. I mean, you look at Centaur and Dragonite, those are not easy heroes to kill, especially with a Dazzle to help out. How are you going to get through all of that Grave and Shadow Wave and what have you to deal with any of those heroes?
Yeah, I mean, this obviously, as long as any rejects don't get too overzealous about their mid game and they're just kind of going out on their own. I think if they are pretty good about synergizing, staying together and close, then this Storm Spirit is going to have a terrible mid game to work with. Anytime he finds the right opportunity to catch anyone off the Dazzle, if he's lingering nearby, the Grave will be there. And like you said, Dragonite, Centaur, Warrunner, they're big boys, so they're going to be real rough to take down. Dragonite pick up here in the mid lane to contest the Storm Spirit. I like it. Typically, Storm Spirit, he'll probably have rune control, and then probably at level 6, you'll see him venture out and try to capitalize using his Ball Lightning. Whereas Dragonite, we talk about time and time again, is just going to stay prominent in the mid lane, and once he gets a little bit of momentum and Storm Spirit leaves, he'll pop that Dragon form and he'll take down that tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that Osiris have to be aware of. We'll have to see a lot of rotations. You already talked about the roaming core they've got with Rubik and the Ancient Apparition, so shutting down DK is not impossible, but it's going to be difficult because, like we said, he's tanky, obviously. It's going to have to be like a telekinesis or a pull into an arrow, which is a very easy combo. But Osiris have not the best matchup. DK does pretty well there with Breathe Fire, and there's not that much damage that Storm Spirit can pump out early to really harass this DK down. But they do pick up the Lifestealer now to round things out, and this kind of means that maybe they go aggro tri-lane with the Mirana, throw Lifestealer solo safe, and then the Storm Spirit mid. There's a couple of ways you can land this for Osiris right now. A bit greedy, but like I talked about, they wanted maybe that Lifestealer against the Centaur Warrunner. Maybe they put him in the tri-lane against Centaur. We'll see what they want to do here. They've got a lot of options, but I like the pick.
Yeah, that would be pretty much my prediction as well, is that this Mirana will potentially be the off-lane Mirana like she is, using her, elusiveness and the leap to be able to avoid any danger. Don't get don't get too greedy trying to get the XP, trying to get the creeps, or you will throw away a kill very, very easily. But for now, they'll probably have her play very safe, look to have the Storm Spirit head up that mid lane, and then obviously a tri-lane going together with Ancient, Apparition, Rubik, and Lifestealer. That way they can put out a lot of heavy hits on the Centaur Warrunner. We might even see Centaur pick up. He'll probably pick up the early boots. He doesn't want to get caught out by anything too easily, so it's going to be a rough lane for him. Hopefully he just doesn't get caught out. That's pretty much the story of both off-laners, so that could definitely be something to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm just looking at chat right now, and it's thinking it's telling me to log on to Steam, so hold on a second. Yeah, I'm going
to... Potentially looking like a remake might be coming out, so that might be the particular reason why.
Oh, all right. Well, apparently, I've just been made aware that the one and only Korok is here to play.
Is
Dota.
Here. Oh.
That's why we're remaking.
Korok has graced us with his,
his illustrious
his fabulously late appearance.
Fabulously late, absolutely. I'd say, and we are going to jump in. Let me throw up the AFK screen, and hopefully we'll get into this game in like 5 seconds, so I don't have to mute everything, but...
If you want to be watching this game, though, in Dota TV, unshameless plug here, $3.99. Get that ADL Season 2 ticket. Get that HUD. It is sexy and sleek. Probably one of the most minimalistic HUDs, and a lot of people love that about that particular HUD. Is it's very minimal. It doesn't have these obtrusive, big, crazy rocks or flowers sticking out. Some people like something sleek and simple, and this is the HUD for you. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, absolutely is. And while you're making that nice little plug, you're still linked to the
I know, I'm trying to get back in here. What? I think I'm reconnecting actually to the old game right now.
Oh,
help me,
please, Coddle Guy. Come on, man.
I'm sorry. I'm digging into Korok about being late, and here I am trying to log into different games. Hold on.
Well, I mean, listen, I think as much fun as it would have been to have Snoopy stand in and see what he can do in Dota and how he's played, I think everyone really they wanted to see Korok, and a lot of people came for Korok. That guy's he's an American
living
hero.
Legend, man.
Yeah, living legend, American hero. Based
Absolutely.
Korok. There's like a huge fan club just for him at TI3. So
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I as well.
We meet once a week, every Tuesday morning. Get on this. All right, Mont? We meet once a week. We pledge allegiance to the Korok flag.
The Korok fan club, if you will. I like it. I'm down. I'm down to be part of the Korok fan club. So we are waiting to jump in, like Kyle Guy talked about, the $3.99 Dota TV ticket, and make sure you guys check that out, pick it up in case you'd like to have your own camera control, maybe in-game audio as well. You'd like to see that. You'd like to have all control of the graphs and what have you. Be pretty nice to have. And of course, if not, follow us on American Dota League here on this channel, twitch.tv/American Dota League, twitter.com/American Dota, and all of that stuff. And looks like we are going to finally jump into the game. And
yep,
we're ready to go, man.
Yeah, I wanted to touch base. You were talking about it briefly, but you didn't have all the information, and I didn't get a chance to go in. But North America Rejects, this is kind of their, I guess, pro debut. You could say this gets officially logged into the Dat Dota book. And I think that's always like the staple of what defines like a pro matchup and what doesn't. But they did, though, already make their official debut when they were playing in that Dota Trash King of the Hill tournament. They went against Sneaky Nyx Assassin, so right. IX Mike's team, and they actually lost the series 1-2. So coming off a bit of a loss, so they got to try to, step it up a bit and pull it all together.
Yeah, and so I actually thought they might have won that series. I was there for the first game of the series, and being the fantastic Dota commentator that I am, I didn't stick around to watch all of it, not really gaining my knowledge. And to be fair, I've had a long day. Of course, waking up at 6 in the morning never really helps, but it's been a good day of Dota, and hopefully it continues onward. So remember, everybody, that there's another series coming your way after this, but...
early morning of casting, Mott. I was serving old women coffee, and I was also handing out assorted beverages to very snotty people. So, I mean, trust me, I would have handed it in for an opportunity to cast, mind you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. I got you.
The hard life of Dota.
I mean, but like, you have to understand, like, I am on the sleep schedule of like a 18-year-old college man who's just starting out and just like, yeah, I'll go to bed at like 4 a.m. It's fine. I only have to get up 2 hours later. It's whatever. So.
Just gonna close my eyes. That's long enough.
Like you try to go to bed at like midnight, and then all of a sudden you're like, I can't fall asleep. All right, what do I have to do to get to sleep now? And so I spend 2 hours. Like one of those hours is browsing in a Dota, and just, oh my goodness. So I don't even, honestly, I'm surprised I'm still alive at this point. But we are gonna jump into the game, and I will start getting hype here as we get into the series.
It's not about us; it's about the players. Let's do it, baby.
That's right. We are jumping into the game. Of course, we have Osiris versus MTSWS2, aka North American Rejects, which is what I'm going to call them for the majority of this series that they play. But for now, for Osiris, we've got Richard. He'll be on that Rubik, heading down to that bottom lane. Joining him in this aggro tri-lane, C7A551C. What a great name on that
classic,
classic. Oh.
Hacksaws, Mott. Hacksaws.
Oh, okay.
30 seconds.
Elite talk, baby.
Jeez. My goodness, am I special.
Don't you speak elite, brother? Jeez.
I actually, well, I'll get into the story later, but Os is going to be on the Mirana. Rounding it all out in the mid lane, and of course in the top lane as well. Mid lane is going to be SN on the Storm Spirit, and the solo safe lane Guanzo on the Lifestealer to round out Osiris.
Yep, Osiris, they're getting a little aggressive here in the jungle, but on your opposing Radiant side, we got the NA Dota Rejects here on your very bottom lane. On the Centaur War Runner, we got Brax representing. It's actually, yeah, he's running the safe lane Centaur, interesting enough, and Dismech is going to be the one to join him on the Lich. Immediate sacrifice coming out to, get the lane control in their favor a little bit sooner. Mid lane, it's going to be Korok, the one and only, making it back in. Sorry, Snoopy, but he will be playing the Dragon Knight in the mid lane. And finally, in your top off lane, it's actually a Dazzle, going to be running, finally, with no coaches, a.k.a. Snake King, on your DD'd Slark.
So they're going to go 2-1-2 right now, and this frees up a lot of room top for them. They can actually shut down Guanzo, especially with the DD rune. And it looks like Snake King's going to run right in. Maybe look for a pounce here. Guanzo in trouble. He's got huge rage, but it doesn't even matter. Look at the damage coming out. First blood, definitely going to go for Snake King. Easy pickup coming out with that DD rune. Wow, that took 30 seconds.
That took all of no time at all to really just assert your immediate dominance in this top lane. So props to Snake King right there. Bonus with getting the DD rune and gets the job done right away. And bottom lane, we're seeing a bit of aggression there. I mean, Richard, he's kind of pushed himself a little close. Let's see if he can try to catch someone out with the lift. I mean, Lich is always there to babysit, but, ideally the Centaur doesn't really like to share a lane. He wants to get a little bit of farm for himself. He wants to get that Blink Dagger.
Well, the thing is now, though, the wave is going to be consistently under his tower with Sacrifice now that he's skilled it up at level 1. I mean, pretty much he's going to use it on cooldown and probably out of range of the rest of the tri-lane here. The one thing they have to be careful of is the telekinesis straight into that arrow. He'll keep him in place. I do want to talk about mid because this is interesting. Korok opted to go for he went for a Quelling Blade instead of a Stout Shield, which people do, but At the same time, it's kind of greedy against the Storm, and I guess that's fine. Korok, known for his mid play, so we'll see if it helps out here. Guanzo getting zoned out top heavily, like 2 CS right now, going the way of that solo safe lane lifestealer. And I think right now, as it stands, and it rejects, they've laned this very well.
Yeah, and man, it's interesting to know Osiris Gaming, man, they flip the script and change their roles so often. Guanzo is typically an offlaner from the games we saw, at least if I remember correctly, and now he's playing the carry role. We've seen Willies in there play both mid and support, and they love to change the roles a lot, and they typically have been bringing in a lot of stand-ins, so it's a bit of a shaky team chemistry. We'll see if in this particular game it works out for them, but the chips are definitely against them as they've already got first blood on NA Rejects.
Yeah, and they're getting some decent farm as well right now. You can see 12 less hits going for Korok with Breathe Fire. That's only going to get better as he levels up that ability. He'll have 1 point in, of course, the Dragon Blood. Just that nice bit of regen going his way, 3.2, plus the Tangos to help out as well. His Battle Crowing, Flying. Guanzo getting killed top lane again as it looks like Slark hits another pounce. So Snaking already with 2 kills going his way. The assist for 1437 helping him out as well, just kind of getting him some levels. And as it stands, yeah, he's not even going for Shallow Grave yet, and there's no real surprise there. They don't need it.
They don't need it. They don't have to worry about anything. They could just play this lane like a fiddle right now. It doesn't even need to be troubled with the Shadow Grave. He gets it now, but more importantly, he wanted to level up the Poison Touch very quickly so they can be very aggressive in the lane. As you can see, it will pay off in their favor. So, man, any rejects, solid performance here in the top lane. That Dazzle skin is a little intriguing. I mean, according to my hero portrait, he's like bald in the head. It's a little weird.
It's weird.
Putting me off. It's like he's got some sort of leukemia thing going, but
yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know. There's some sets and some items that I'm a big fan of, and this is, I don't think, one of them.
Yeah,
Dazzle's just a creepy guy in general. I mean, he's like one of those heroes that you're like, I don't really want him touching my kids. Just get away.
No, he has candy, and I don't feel comfortable with this at all. Absolutely not. Please step back, that man with the crazy face paint.
Seriously, don't let me I'll get the police to detain you, sir. You need to go away. And he's actually going to head top, and he's going to try to zone out the Lifestealer, who, I mean, this guy steals lives, so he's pretty dangerous. He's headed to the jungle. Guanzo's like, he wants to go on 1437 right now. He does have that Shallow Grave. A lot of damage taken, though. He's got Shadow Wave as well. He should be okay. No open wounds for 13 seconds. Can't get the kill. Dazzle just pops a salve. He says, listen, I don't even need to waste mana. It's fine.
That's a bit morally demising right there. You would think that Lifestealer and any other opportunity like that is like, free kill for me. But you can just see right there how hard of a time it's been for Lifestealer already in this game. Just 1437 able to scout him out and see what's happening here. Now they know there's plenty of space to work with. Snaking's just going to go to town now on this farm in the top lane. So, it's just going to be a real hard day right now for Osiris, I could tell already. And they're not getting anything done in this bottom tri lane. I mean, I would figure this would be something more aggressive, but the lane Equilibrium has always been in the favor. But now they're making something happen. Lift on Dismech. Dismech pulls back, and nothing will end up coming of it.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that was... Talk about demoralizing. First top with Guanzo, now bottom, and you're absolutely right. When you're running an aggro tri-lane, you've got to get something done, whether it's kills, whether it's... I don't even know. I don't say at this point. Just getting farm for the Miranda, that's fine. She's only at 16 last hits, though. That's not that great. Now 1437 has roamed down bot, so Brax isn't getting experience anymore, but they're going to keep everybody safe here. I don't think any way, really, they can grab a kill potentially now that 1437 with level 4 is here. I mean, level 2 Rubik, level 3 Ancient Apparition. Yes, there's some levels there, and Os is level 3 as well. But now the Grave, the Shadow Wave, the Shadow Poison at level 2, or the Poison Touch.
They're making a move on Korok right now. They're trying to get a hold of the Dragon and tame it. They got a pullback coming up from Storm Spirit. Now a jump in. He's got a fair amount of mana to still work with here. Jumps in and one more auto attack, and the true American Korok ends up getting taken down in the mid lane, and Osiris get themselves on the board 2-1.
I guess if Guanzo's not going to get CS just in the jungle or in that top lane, they're going to try to get him involved in kills, and that's something that at least is going their way. Quark almost surviving, a bit tankier. Now 1437 telekinesis arrow. He got the Grave off beforehand. Nicely done. He's got to use that wave, but he gets cold feeted. He will fall. The Double Edge now taking the Rubik down. Can they trade this? You see Classic going to town. There's the Frost Blast going. Get this mech, get this kill. The salve up on Classic. Os backing off now. Brax wants to chase. Can't get any more done. They've got to get away. Just mech has to be careful. He's got a salve. They will leave this lane, or at least back off for the time being. A 1-for-1 trade. All the meanwhile, snaking. Hand of Midas and the tower pressure already coming through.
That bastard child Slark in the top lane just doing anything he wants. They don't even want to acknowledge that top lane anymore over on Osiris. They need their own reliable farm. Lifesteal forced to jungle. I mean, this is like something you don't see very often. Typically, he's got enough support to kind of linger it out, but this lane setup has just been god-awful for him. SN in the mid lane eats a little bit of Breath of Fire, makes a jump in, a little bit of harassment, but Dragon Knight's pretty beefy. You're going to need a helping hand again if you want to take him down.
Yeah, and I talked about maybe even going for a Stout Shield early on with a DK, but he doesn't need it. I mean, you just look how tanky he is against the Storm Spirit, and SN can't do much. He's level 7, and Korok really he died because Guanzo came in. Speaking of Guanzo or roaming gank, you have Richard running around here, still level 3. The support's not getting the levels they may need. Classic now maybe heading top. They're going to try to help out Guanzo, have him get some recovery CS, but meanwhile, Snake King going to try to pounce on Guanzo here. He's going to go for it. He has the Shadow Dance ready to go. Guanzo, open wounded, he'll infest into a creep. Now infest out, pounce again. Nice reaction time. Snake King, nice play coming out from #TheKing. He'll grab another kill, 3-0 with the Midas and Treads now complete.
Man, Slark and Lifesteal are going toe-to-toe, and no surprises. Snake King comes out on top with all that additional farm. Now the supports show up, a lift and some chilling feet, but you're not going to get this guy. Snake King's going to simply run back. He eats a Fade Bolt on the way out. Feel pretty confident right here, but you can never count out the hefty regen that this hero brings to the table. But he's going to make a long rotation, hang on the side, use that Midas, bring in that farm, and just kind of make his escape for now, and maybe just look for some reliable farm elsewhere. Now, we got to be cautious of this mid lane. It looks like SN's making a move up. They're catching out too. Not going to be close enough for the poison touch, and Theban will pull back instead.
Yeah, 1437 not willing to kind of initiate, and it looks like SN was ready for it anyways. It's going to be tough to lock him down. Stampede down bottom. Os getting caught out. Moonlight Shadow's going to fly. The double edge, the right clicks. Is it enough? No. Unless Braxton, they get a sentry down just in time. I think they gave one to Brax. He threw it down just at the edge there, and they grabbed the kill with the last right click. Coddle guy is disconnected. What happened?
It was so much delicious hype. My Dota just took a dump on itself, but don't worry about it, Mont. I will be right back into the game.
Okay, so while we're waiting for him to get in here, obviously, we're going to see Korok and 1437 looking to at least pressure this tier 1 tower mid. Korok popping the Elder Dragon. SN maybe looking to make a jump here, but only level 2 Vortex. 1437, like I said, has that Shallow Grave, and it's pretty decent for himself early on. Doesn't have the range for it, obviously, and the cooldown's a bit long, but it doesn't really matter. Korok working with 53 last hits right now. No Midas going. Actually, there is a Midas on Korok. I neglected to mention. Now 3 heroes mid. Dismech here. Looks like he sacrificed a creep, and that'll actually pull the creep wave back up. Actually, might have been on cooldown for a bit longer. They're going to try to make it go on SN. No, the TP rotation coming through. It'll be from AA. No level 6, so he can't throw the Ice Blast. He's getting close to it. 1437 getting kind of low. 2 stick charges. Will they make a go for this? The right click on the tower. Dragon Tail. One more will do the job. Dismech gets it. Now SN. He's got to back off. Looking at the AA. He's going to get breathe fired. Getting low, but not enough damage. Korok, go use that Midas of yours. Take a victory lap. There you go. Nicely played.
Top lane, though. Snake King has been on the hunt trying to get Richard right here on the Rubik. Oh, one more auto attack would have done it, but he has to pull back, unfortunately. I mean, he could have overcommitted. Lifestealer could have pulled back, but Snake King, I guess just for now, tries to scare out Rubik, doesn't get the kill, picks up a few side farm, and will remain in this top lane.
That's like the most atypical thing I've seen from Snake King in some time. You usually see him go for that aggressive type of play, and sometimes it doesn't pay off, but he had Shadow Dance, so I don't see why not go for it. But while that was all happening down in the bottom lane, Os actually picks up a solo kill on Brax on the Centaur Warminder, getting caught out. So a big boon coming up for this Mirana right now, and at the very least, she's getting farm, and at the very least as well, SN's getting farm. Guanzo's caught up a bit with 30 last hits. He's still trying to get to a Midas, so he's very poor. And Korok's looking to keep the advantage going their way with 4,000 gold lead going for NA rejects, as well as almost a 2,000 experience lead as well. So Dismech, he actually just got level 6. Chain Frost is so good early on in the game. The amount of damage he can pump out, disgusting. They'll try to make a trade down bottom and maybe see some rotations come in from NA rejects here in a second after this tower's gone top.
That was a nice pick off that Os had got in the bottom lane. I mean, you're preventing Centaur Warner that much longer from getting his Blink Dagger, and now he has to make the long run all the way to the bottom lane, but he should be there in time to defend. Even Fortification coming out as well, but this is classic textbook Dragon Knight happening right now after achieving the mid lane tower, which mid lane, a little bit of aggression there, but nothing will come of it. He gets the mid lane tower already, goes top. We'll see if they try to just keep the ball rolling here, maybe go bottom for the next tier 1 tower, or maybe they just look instead to congregate all together to the mid even further.
Yeah, we'll see. Honestly, right now, with everyone roaming down bottom for Osiris, they've got to be careful. They probably want to defend this tier 1, and they can with Stampede. They can with Lich Ultimate as well. That Chain Frost ready to go. Korok, his Elder Dragon form online. Not that much mana.
Classic.
Stampede coming through.
Uh-oh.
CP, that is not. That's not gonna work.
Wishful thinking right there,
Arrow does connect on Snaking, but he uses that Shadow Dance right in time. Richard getting caught out. Brax, no blink, but he will just right-click him down. Look at the damage coming through with the weave, the minus armor, and Brax doesn't even do that much damage, but with weave on you, everything hurts.
Yeah, and you could just tell the Osiris squad, their supports are just lacking in the farm and everything they need to even hold their own here. The lane situation in the early game is definitely paying off dividends right now. They should have maybe considered doing an audible where they switch up to the top lane to help out that lifestealer, but you can see right now it's kind of coming back to bite them in the asses. Now it looks like any rejects are going to look for their final tier 1 tower here in the bottom lane.
And honestly, Guanzo's, I think, known for Osiris to kind of make space and get some things going in the mid game with whatever hero he has in the off lane. As that safe lane farmer in the solo role, he does like that solo role. It's surprising that he's had this rough of a time, but now Moonlight Shadow's gonna go. Arrow flying through, nice Delta split coming out, but telekinesis, Snaking getting caught out, Cold Feet, Dark Pact, Grave. Now, staying alive just barely. DSMK getting a kill, but Brax staying a little too long there with the help of DSMK. They both go down. They pick up the AA, but really, I don't know if that was necessary. They threw out the Chain Frost. I didn't actually see what happened. So I was watching, of course, making sure that the Sneaking stayed alive. I don't know really what became
We
that
saw
engagement.
NA Rejects not able to hold their own without the power of Korok on their side, so he wasn't there to help out, especially with that Dragon form, which he does have now, so we'll see if they like to move forward and defend out this tier 1. It's only 5 more seconds for the Centaur to come back, and then he could TP to the bottom lane, and we'll see if they try to go for the defense. Storm Spirit's holding the front right now. Korok leading for his team. There goes the Dragon form. Lifted throwback, Cold Feet the Fly Out, arrows way off the mark, but they're making it go on Thebin as well, and he ends up being taken down. Now Brax does show up indeed from the afterlife. Quick snowball coming out, but it's going to be worthless right now, eating a lot of damage. Classic trying to get away, but they are focused on the Storm Spirit, who easily flies over, but the blade coming out! Centaur bursts him down! Very nice from Brax. Believe it, baby. He takes him down. And now Classic on the side, as you can see, the Ancient Apparition praying to the Holy God above he can get this TP and get the cooldown before he can go. And the rest of NA Rejects maybe instead just look to push up. Not even...
Korok,
Korok,
dude, no, not that way. Korok, come on, get back. No, over right here. Come on. It's a free kill.
Classic.
And you actually saw Dismech, he went on Classic for a second with that Frost Blast, but they turned their attention. They wanted to go on SN, but Brax is like, I got this, guys. It's not even a problem.
What?
Ice Blast. Blink
Which
away.
is like, wait, what?
Korok taking a bit of damage. Classic, no. You were alive.
No more mana to TP.
No, Korok. Oh my god, he got juked so hard. It doesn't
dead.
matter. No.
Look, there it is.
Jump on him, stomp, double edge. Okay.
Oh my.
All
He
right.
throws out the Ice Blast from behind and then has no more mana to TP out of there. Just,
Richard.
just
also
the
doing
ultimate
that.
flare.
That was some clowny ass. Okay. I don't know what just happened, but I'm sure Korok's been embarrassed about it. I'm sure everyone's really just kind of like, let's just sweep that under the rug. Let's not talk about that play that just happened ever again, and we'll be okay.
In the meantime, it looked like Snaking got a quick kill for himself, asserting himself forward. Now double up, 12-6. I'm sure the goal graph, yep, 7,500 in favor of NA Rejects, so it's definitely looking like their game for right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and honestly, it probably can continue to snowball. I don't see them getting far behind at any point in time. The ultimate's coming online now. Still no level 6 for this Rubik. Richard has maybe had the roughest time I've ever seen on a support in a game of Dota for a while, and he's a bit far behind in experience, and really that's because he just had no room to work with in that bottom lane, and obviously getting killed by Snaking, who's by the way going for Lothar's, that Shadow Blade about to be completed, just about 400 gold away from that. On top of that, what's Guanzo's CS looking like? What's his net worth? He is now below Brax in terms of the CS. He's below half, and he just has phase and Midas. Oh, and Brax denied the tier 1 bottom as well. They just can't get anything going for them. But now grouping up mid, Osiris maybe thinking about fighting here. They've got a smoke on Richard. Can they get anything done?
They need more towers. They need more money, but oh no. Gets caught out with a lockdown B there. SN, and it will be taken down. It's more than enough. Just the Dragon Tail alone from Korok was enough to hold him in place, and this game is going south real quick. I mean, your lifestealer that low on the net worth is just goes to show that this has just been a very difficult game for him. And man, the NA Rejects, after their previous loss series against SNA, they're looking to really put a exclamation point on their debut in the ADL.
Yeah, they're looking strong right now as it stands, and Honestly, they just need to keep up this pressure. And you talk about what everyone else has for Osiris. You look at the Storm Spirit who just died, and we're used to seeing like 18-minute, working malevolences. It's going to be there about 20, maybe 22. And that's very problematic because not only that, but he needs to build towards that BKB in this game. You think about exactly what just happened. Korok jumping in, throwing out that Dragon Tail. One Dragon Tail is enough to lock down, like you said. Of course, that Storm Spirit, wow, snaking. This is the boldest play I have ever seen. He's going to get Ice Blasted to the face. He's going to go ahead and use his Shadow Dance, but he cannot regen with that Frostbite debuff on him. Oz continuing to chase. Moonlight Shadow's ready to go, snaking. Now he gets the Dark Pact, or excuse me, the Shadow Dance going his way, and suddenly, well, he gets a kill, and they really can't do anything about it. That's just, he walked right into 3, and they can't even do anything, so that's rough.
It's rough at this point. It's definitely a steep hill to climb if they want to get back into this one. I mean, you can't afford to hand away kills. But they do manage to grab a quick pickoff, apparently, on Dismech. I unfortunately did not catch that there in the bottom lane. It looks like it was quick work coming out from the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, just a typical play. Just expect any sort of Storm Spirit kind of gank, and just think about that in your mind. That's exactly what happened to Dismech, and unfortunately, he did end up dying there, and he's trying to get towards that mech. He picks up the recipe for the mech first. He has the headdress on the courier, so it's done. He actually bought before he died. Well, at least there's that. He didn't lose a lot from that. Now, Slark, oh my goodness, they don't have any true sight on mid. There's no real detection. Dark Pact, easy kill again for Snaking, who is just running rampant in this game, 15-7. And it might not seem like that big of a kill lead coming out for NA Rejects, but I feel like the gold graph tells the story here in almost 10,000 at 18 minutes in. So
these supports are food at this point, just food for snaking. They're food for pretty much anyone if they get caught out. Speaking of food, bottom lane, Korok's pretty hungry here, trying to make a go on SN. Trails him up, body blocks coming out as well. He can't get away, instead he's trying to hold him and pull him back. Makes a jump up to the high hill, but Korok here, they're going to try to run back, sees him up above, desperate Moonlight Shadow to come to try to save him, and there will be the Ball Lightning TP, and all the meanwhile, Snake King has been just running rampant, top in the woods, and catches out another flimsy little support. Guanzo gets caught out, desperate rage, but it will be long enough to get away. Arrow to fly, will catch on Snake King temporary. Fade Bolt, they're thinking about making a turn on him.
Nice
Brax
stomp.
jumps in, nice stomp, nice double edge, they get him down, and they also manage to quickly burst back Snake King. Jump forward, but Brax is able to move on to a dominating streak, taking down the Lifestealer, and the rest of Osiris squad have to run up to the high hill and get away.
yeah, right now that a decent trade coming out. Nice Ice Blast connecting onto the debuff on 3 with Korok not taking that damage at the point of entry, but honestly, they did grab a kill on 1. SN, though, getting obliterated. Again, that Dragon Tail. He just doesn't expect that damage to come through, or at least the stun. Stomp, now Classic, in some trouble. Double edge, easy kill for Brax. He could have gotten that solo with his eyes closed, but he will get arrowed. He's maybe in some trouble here. He actually took a lot of damage from that creep wave, but Oz is like, no, I can't really do anything about that, sadly. So, more tier 2 towers to fall. In fact, the first one of the game. And, well, it just seems like NA Rejects have, again, just done so much work this game.
I don't know, at this point for Osiris Gaming, they have these supports just hang out on their own. If they get caught up by anyone, they're gonna get instantly destroyed. I mean, at this point, it's trying to make space again for yourselves. Maybe you could find the right opportunity to sneak in and take a Roche, but they don't really have any damage to take it down. It would be a long, very sweaty battle to try to take a Roche on down at this point, and I think almost by now, any Rejects probably have the same idea. I mean, they have a very aggressive ward right over here, so they have plenty of space to work with if they even themselves decide to move into the Roche pit.
I think if Osiris wanted to sneak Roche, they would have to do it before that tier 2 tower mid went down. They could still do it now, but it's going to be even harder. They don't have that kind of, I guess, tier 2 tower to fall back on in case things go poorly. So that's something to keep in mind. And it's not like Osiris are completely out of this game yet. They have the Lifestealer who's farming okay. I mean, he's gotten back up in terms of his CS with that Midas. The recovery Midas helped out a lot. He's at his armlet now, which is decent farm. But you look at the Mirana, and she's actually worse off. I mean, she doesn't have the Midas to fall back on. She's got the Ultimate Orb now, and whatever item that's going to be, who knows. But Snake King, again, on the hunt. They see him this time around. They have the Sentry Ward. He's going to get Telekinesis. No Dark Pact. There it goes. Now the Stomp up. Brax jumps in. Easy kill coming through again for Centaur. Brax just wants to man up on people. No real surprise there. Slark looking to jump on Classic. Misses the pounce there, but Ice Blast flies. Doesn't matter. That is not going to deter them from grabbing a double kill for Brax, who's now wicked sick. They'll take some damage. They'll wait for the debuff to wear off. They'll mech up. They'll Shadow Wave up and maybe go for that tier 2 tower bottom in a couple of seconds. But again, the support's getting caught out for Osiris.
There is just not enough that this Lifestealer can bring forward to carry the team on his back. The team is just too big at this point. They're too heavy. Storm Spirit, I mean, he should be his second man right now, but with all these BKBs starting to be built up now, it's just like he'll have nothing to offer. Here's an aggressive Moonlight Shadow, which is the first one of the game here for Osiris, but they're not making it happen. Also, the first real Infest Bomb. They haven't been able to capitalize on using this typical like strat that we get to see from time to time again. It's just not working against this team. They have too much survivability, and they're just one step ahead all the time. And as you can see, they're moving in on the bottom lane with the help of Dragon Form. They're going to try to take down this tier 2. Ice Blast to fly to try to slow him down, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Here we go. Might be the last stand here for Osiris. Pull back by Richard. Pipe to come out already, though, and nothing's going to happen. Korok, BKB, and they blow it right back up in their face. The Sword Speed will immediately taken down, and now thinking of making a move on Guanzo is putting him down. Feed Alley right now, going right up, trying to bite his way out of this one, and will go for the TP. Will they get it there in time? No! Korok will not quite catch him with the Dragon Tail, but regardless, 2 will fall, and it looks like NA Rejects might look to push in this bottom lane.
Alright. Mac, you thought no one would see that, but I saw it. I saw that. He chain frosted the raged up Lifestealer, and I think it bounces anyways, even if you use it on Magic Immune units. But there was nobody there. Oh, and he gets arrow too. He gets Grave, so he's still alive. The pounce away, the leap away. Os in trouble. Stun is up. Big Breathe Fire stolen, doing a lot of damage, plus the Fable. They'll stampede. Guanzo going to try to go to town. Open wounds now going his way. Guanzo still working on Brax. Can he get him down? The Shadow Word going to work. The Shadow Wave, excuse me, trying to heal him up. Korok will TP away. The arrow! It connects. Long range. Korok getting caught out. Nice arrow coming through. Richard with the double kill. The Fade Bolt, the Breathe Fire. Oh, but here's Snaking. Pounces up, ready to go. Classic trying to juke. Snaking with no mana. He's got to Dark Pact. Basher now up for Guanzo. Ready to fight again. Arrow coming through. And looks like 1437 will dodge it. Head out of there as quickly as possible. They lose 3. They don't get to the tier 3 or the set of racks. So a bit of a misplay for NA Rejects and maybe signs of life coming up from Osiris here. But we'll see.
That's definitely the best thing Osiris has had going for him this game so far, and it's just a matter of holding the hill. A little bit of aggressive play coming out from any rejects, just a little lackluster. You know, Korok just kind of going for a brave TP right in the middle. He was up on the high hill, but it was just still too much in the open, and it was a bit sloppy, but I think now they can kind of just pull it together. It's definitely helpful, but nowhere near enough to get back in this one.
Yeah, that they need like 4 or 5 more of those fights, and really then maybe they'll be in a position where they can actually have some items and do some work. The issue is that this Storm Spirit's just not doing enough. He still doesn't have his Orchid yet. He actually picked up a gem. That was actually 1437, so the Orchid is now completed at 24 minutes. That's your like first big item that you need on a Storm Spirit, and that's a timing that you really would like to have better. Whereas Slark, he's got like his SNY, he's got a Shadow Blade. Korok has a BKB and a Maelstrom at this point, and almost maybe even a Mjolnir. Coming out to him now. Still 1,000 gold in the bank for him, obviously. So, big clash maybe going to happen mid. There's going to be SN jumping in. Brax getting caught out. Orchid as well. Getting very low. The Ice Blast might connect. Yes, it will on Snaking. Richard, Dark Pacting. Big Chain Frost. Bounce away. Ball Lightning coming through. 2 down now. For NA Rejects, Dismec going to be the 3rd. And that is another fight going the way of Osiris. All of a sudden, NA Rejects, they're falling a bit behind, at least in these recent team fights. Nothing being too concerned about it if you're on the Radiant side, but maybe start trying to clean up the play a bit on their side.
Nice call plays happening there for Osiris Gaming. They congregate together, go for a smoke, and catch out the Centaur. And definitely with the benefit of that big bad blue rune, they're able to get something going, and the extra DPS they don't have. So now actually making a move into the Roche Pit themselves. Still have the DD to work with right here, and Guanzo's putting out a fair amount of DPS right now, and there's no one near to contest it. So wow, Osiris Gaming now trying to pull ahead.
Yeah, and this Roshan is going to help a lot. They're taking it down very quickly, actually. I mean, they have some decent right-click with Guanzo, with the Armlet, with the Basher, and it looks like it will go their way. There's no way they can get there in time to contest it. Snaking will back off. Weave's going to go long range just to make sure they get that armor reduction up. Ice Blast coming through. 1437 just going to stick around long enough to get hit up with the tail end of that, but he'll back off now. Everyone kind of grouping around this bottom jungle area for NA Rejects. They've got some ward coverage here, a bit of aggressive ward coverage as well. And all of a sudden, it looks like Osiris, they're starting to try to take the map back here. I mean, they really haven't had much to work with in terms of coverage with wards and what have you, but now they're starting to get at least something right around the Roche Pit. Of course, closer to NA Rejects' jungle, but now there's, I think, a Shadow Blade going for Snaking. He'll walk right past the sentry, and this is something we've seen a bit before in this game. A lot of sentries, a lot of True Sight being purchased up right now for Osiris. Is maybe a gank gonna The train's going to hit up on SN. He has the Aegis, luckily, but this might be dangerous. The ball letting away. Looks like he'll be alright. Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, they're close, but he knows for the better. No one's on the map. No one's visible anymore. Makes a pullback instead. He does have the Aegis to fall back on, but it's not worth feeding away, and they definitely have to wait for the right fight. They'll hand over this tier 2 tower in the top lane. They'll kind of just see if they can play a very strong top hill game. They did show a lot of promise there in the bottom lane earlier. They're looking to make it work again for themselves. They're already all gathered here. Let's see if Osiris Gaming can hold the hill.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough battle. They have the Aegis like you talked about, and there are a couple BKBs, at least one BKB going the way of NA Rejects right now. That's on Cork, obviously. Snaking not building one. Dismech, he's got the mech, obviously. The Shallow Grave, Point Booster, there's a Pipe. Elder Dragon Form's going to go for Korok. He's almost there at level 3 now. Ball lightning in, Infest out. Maybe some trouble coming through. Snake King getting blown up, but SN falls first. Guanzo Rage. There's the Shadow Dance. Guanzo getting caught out. Infest is on cooldown. He's done. There's the Chain Frost. They're going to try to Delta Split away, and they will as SN. He'll take the first hit and the only hit. Slark with the double kill. Arrow flying through, missing on 1437. Everyone's still alive. They're combining up. NA Rejects overrunning the fight. Multiple buybacks coming out. SN dies again. Korok jumping in. He'll buy back into it, and you can see obviously Guanzo now down for 60 some odd seconds. Richard's here once again. Elder Dragon form still up and ready to go for a couple more seconds if they want to continue this engagement, but they have to maybe wait for this BKB to go. All the meanwhile, they get a lot more in terms of kills, but they still can't break this tier 3 tower just yet.
It looked like a promising start there for Osiris Gaming. It was a nice air to land on Snake King. They tried to jump with the bomb and make something happen, but it just was not enough. You could just clearly see by that point which team was taking more advantage in the early and mid game, and it's just kind of not working still for Osiris Gaming. It was... The idea was there, but they just couldn't make it work. They need to be more into the base. They need the help with that damage, but they're making a jump in. They won't catch anyone with it, and for now, they're just going to slowly siege out these lanes. And it looks like NA Rejects are going to just kind of wait a bit, heal up, and then maybe consider coming back together once all skills are back up.
Yeah, and it's the BKB timing like I talked about. Korok's level 16, so not only does he have level 3 Elder Dragon form, but he's actually got a Mjolnir flying out to him right now as well, which is a disgusting amount of damage for this DK. Dismech, Chain Frost hasn't been that effective because of the Storm Spirit, but it feels like the Storm Spirit pick was forced, and he got blown up so fast in that team fight, and that's exactly why he's going for that BKB with the Ogre Club. I think Frost Blast was used, Pounce, what have you. I mean, so much damage, so much nuke potential coming out for NA Rejects. So now all they have to do is find a way into the base. That's easier said than done, especially, you know, if it goes a bit later. Osiris can certainly defend, but we'll see if they can breach the high ground here as Richard, SN, and Haas, they're waiting to go. Manta's now up for the Mirana. That helps with the split pushing. Doesn't give you that much damage, obviously, but still okay. And I don't know. Osiris, they've got a ways away, but smoke is now up for any rejects.
Yep, they quickly de-ward the obs, go for a smoke that they know Osiris will not see coming, and it looks like they're going to go for a bit of a rotation all the way potentially to the top lane. And what I was going to go into before is that this is a team that has a lot of meat on the bones. You know, obviously the Dragon's Blood's there, but with the help of the Frost Armor, jump in. They're going to make something happen in Guanzo. If they can get this prize possession, it's going to look very grim Osiris now. They lose their core hero, and now they'll just congregate up to the top and look for the slow push in. It looks like he will not have a buyback here. Another 3 minutes before that's even available. This could be the beginning of the end right now.
Yeah, and they'll try to make whatever they can happen here in the next 40 seconds. And if they can get up to the high ground and even take this tier 3 tower, then that's a victory. Maybe even a couple of kills. But while this is happening, hunting bottom, looking for Oz. Snaking, going to be aggressive here. He's going to run right in. There's the Pounce. Might be able to leap away. He mantas out of the Pounce. Nice play. Leap onto the other side. No way to bash him down. Oz is going to TP. Snaking getting actually outplayed there. Nice play from Oz, but they're still losing this tier 3 tower. Getting low. Blank Stomp. Richard Double Edge. Breathe Fire. 3 abilities. That's all it takes to bring down a Rubik, apparently, in this game. The ranged rack's getting focused by Korok with the Mjolnir. The static shield ready to go in about 3 seconds if they want to. They're going to try to maybe go for a second. Korok, his Elder Dragon, now done for a while. 51 seconds, that'll be down. It looks like they don't mind Snaking. Jumps right into Oz. He tries to leap away, but that does not work with Pounce and the leash on you. My friend, you are dead for 66 seconds. That's a set of racks gone. And NA Rejects very close to their first victory here in the American Dota League.
Man, unbelievable. Just nice, strong performance pretty much from beginning to end here for NA Rejects. I mean, just a little flub here and there, but what team doesn't flub from time to time? And they definitely made it work. The power of the push, the power of all the muscle they had on this team, the tankiness just worked out, and you can see the supports just crumble so easily on Osiris' side. And after clearing out the first set of racks in the top lane and looking to take their second set, big jumping bomb. Here we go, baby. Why not, right, Mont? SN feeds himself over. So does Guanzo. They raise the white flag, and they're like, we've had enough. We'll move on to game number 2, though, in this 2-game series.
Yeah, and honestly, just from beginning to end, like you mentioned, maybe 1 or 2 missteps there for NA Rejects, but when it's all said and done, 35-14 is the score. The bloodbath ensued, and NA Rejects with a solid first game victory. So we are going to take a quick break, guys. Obviously, big shout out to SteelSeries for bringing the American Dota League Season 2 your way. Make sure you guys follow American Dota League at twitter.com/AmericanDota and twitch.tv/American Dota League. There's a ticket that you can buy in the store, $3.99. And of course, if you guys like to purchase that up, comes with that nice little HUD. And of course, if you enjoyed the cast, you can follow us, myself being Maud at twitter.com/Maud32, and of course, CoddleGuy at twitter.com/CoddleGuy, and check out highground.tv, which is where we'll be doing a lot of different stuff in terms of our casting, in terms of new content coming through, and we have a lot of exciting opportunities and casts lined up as well. So stick around. We'll jump into game number 2, like he said, of this 2-game series in just a second, guys. We'll be right back.